Sorry, I'm sitting a little funny because I have a cat in my lap. Lamia has decided that now is the time to receive pets and love and affection. And I'm not going to deny it to her because she's being very cute right now. Wanna say hi? Here. It's a little llama. It's a little snuggly bean. My good sweet girl. Hi. Yeah, gonna be holding her for a little bit while we play some dang games. We're doing some more Dread X today. Gonna try and finish We Never Left, because we started that on Monday, and had to stop because I was getting tired. Baby. Sweet baby. Speaking of tired, hi. What a happy little cat. So yeah, we're gonna do We Never Left, which was really, really cool and I really liked. We will also hopefully get to a couple of the other ones. Yeah. Sorry, why is she so precious? Huh? Why are you so sweet? Can I set you on my lap? Is that okay? Yeah. Yeah. Hi. Oh my gosh. Okay. Lamia, I love you. Sweet kitten. So yeah, more Dread X. We do have a few hours left on the community challenge. Not much left to go, like 7,000 points. Consider. Nah, I'm excited to do more Dread X. Travis, thank you for the contribution. Speaking of, we're getting there. We're almost there. Yeah. Also, reminder: no stream on Friday because it's Friend Friday, so we're gonna do stuff in the server. Lamia is looking at my hands and wondering why I'm not petting her. I can pet you a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit though, because I need this hand so I can play games. I can't play the games with you. You're not a controller, Lamia. Hope you're doing well, Travis. Like I said, thank you for the contribution. Oops, that's not the screen I wanted. You want to see my Steam instead of the game? This is fine. There we go. That's more like it. Dread X. I'm stoked about it. You can see that I am turning up my headphones. Don't like that. I'm not a huge fan of display capture. Fun fact. I genuinely hate it. It's true. She only wants pets. My hands are only for pets. I'm not allowed to do anything else other than pet her. I'll pet her a little bit, but I do need both hands to play game. And that looks... I'm trying to, like... My sound settings got all messed up. And I don't know why. Or how. So I'm hoping that it's fine. But, you know, if it's not, whatever, we'll fix it. A severed hand! Some of the fingers are missing! Aaron fucking lost it today. Said something about their hands not being theirs anymore. Crazy bastard got through 3 fingers before we even noticed. Listen, they do not pay me enough to go find his fucking fingers. Okay. Hey, fingers. Hey, fingies. Frozen dip! Put that in there. I bet you there's a finger in there. That is so loud. That's not right. What do you mean it's not right? All employees must read. Due to budget cuts, the oven will only be run when a full order is ready to be cooked. That means you'll have to load at least 3 items into the oven before turning it on. There should not be an empty damn space in that oven. So, you know, put the shit that cooks the quickest at the bottom. If it's not finished, don't worry about it. These kids eat each other's boogers. Big boy. Stuff that cooks the fastest on the bottom? You would think that's the dip, right? Whoa! I want to back out. Let me out. Let me out! Frozen fish fingers! Are there people fingers in there too? Box. I need the hand. I understand. Door stuck and won't budge! Are there any notes about these things cooking? Is that right? Oh! Hang on, Stranglemont. It's very loud in here. This is horrible and I hate it. Did he eat it? Hey! We got some fienders. Those are horrible noises. Awful, actually. Give? Give me that. Give me that. Somebody put pizza on the floor and that makes me sad. There's a bunch of rotten fruit. Okay, good, great, fantastic. You love that for them. Not the new ha-ha. I'll take the beep over the ha-ha, actually. Honestly. Bad. It's bad there. Oh, I didn't need to finish this just yet, did I? Because we needed to finish playing... We never left. Okay, let me unlock that at least. And then we can finish playing. We never left. Hi! Mama. Baby, I love you and I want to cuddle you all dang day. But I have been cuddling you all dang day. And I need my lap because I can't sit like this. Because you're putting my foot to sleep. Look at this kitty cat, though. Look at this lumpus. Look at this lumpus right here. This very silly lumpus. Can I lay you over here? Can I put you on the couch? Stay here? Huh? This is the spot for mommy. Okay? Okay? Will she stay there? That timing was a little weird. Why? No. Okay. I think she lives there now. That's great. Also... Oh, farty can. Never mind. That was sad. That was a sad Grumpet and Ruppet. Alright, well. An attempt was made. Failed. But we did attempt. Okay, right. We got... Can I listen? I didn't mean to put that back. We got a new game from the door. We have a cassette tape.
This is Dr. Miller.
And there was blood outside, but it is gone now.
32. It is April 16th, 1983. How have you been doing, Michael? Michael, I asked, how are you?
Don't act like you care.
Excuse me?
I know you don't.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure where this is coming from.
I found the thing makes me feel better. And you tell me it's wrong.
Michael, I understand your frustration. But this project you're working on seems unhealthy. I understand you're passionate about this horror game, but some of the things you're writing seem
Computer's
sadistic.
dinging at me.
And I think it would be best if we...
Don't you dare tell me what's best for me, you fucking bitch!
Owie!
I think we should take a step back and...
No, I'm done with this. I found what makes me feel better, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm about to create a masterpiece in gaming. Hell, I'm creating a masterpiece of any art form. Why would you want to take that away from me?
Michael.
I'm sorry, Michael, but I don't think this is good for you.
Don't pretend like you know what's good for me. You know I've spent my whole life just wanting to create. I just want so bad to let the world know what's going on inside my brain, and I finally found the message I want to send. I'm gonna be the horror auteur of the fucking millennium. Do you know what it's like to be told your entire life that your ideas are shit? It's too dark. It's disturbed. It's not. It's art. And I'm ready to show the world what my art can be.
Oh, I can still hear the computer making noises. Hi, Uncles! How's it going? How are you doing? Computer is getting impatient with me. What do you want, computer? I'm scared. Glad you're doing well. I'm doing good! I'm a little spooked. Can I turn the volume down? Again. Always turning volume down. Everything is loud and terrifying. But yeah, I'm doing well. We're, doing more Dread X. I'm excited for it. I've had a good day. I'm stoked. Thanks for asking. Alright, you trek along the road in the dead of the night. The cold air fills your lungs as you creep onward. A trail of blood streaks behind you like the slime of a snail. You can't shake the grin on your face. The axe you drag behind you makes a clanking sound as it hits the concrete with every one of your steps. It's the most beautiful rhythm you've ever heard. You come upon an all-too-familiar home. A single-level house with an attic for storage. So many hours spent inside. Work, work, work. Never enough. However, this house is not empty. He's here. To your left is an unfamiliar car. Looking ahead, you see the front door. Look at car. You approach the car. It's nicer than yours, and you hate it. The interior is clean and put together. Such a slob. Disgusting. The tires look freshly pumped full of air. Use X on tires? You thrust the wedge of the axe into the car's tires. They let out a satisfying pop and hiss. He's not going anywhere. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to back out from this. Excuse me. Ugh. Got Lamia fur up my nose. I don't think I can see the car from here, can I? No. Oh, I hate this. I want to see if I can make him go to the front door and then see if I can see him at the front door, you know? Okay, go back. Go to... Is it front door? You walk to the front door. It's been left unlocked. You know that he's distracted inside. I keep hitting exit to back out. When what I mean to do is left click. Okay. Oh. Sorry. I really like this. front door. Helps to type properly. Open front door. Enter front door. Use front door. Enter front door. Birdie, thank you for the contribution to the gummy hunt. We do need like 2 more people. We're almost there though. Y'all got like 4 hours. You got this. Use axe on front door. Open. Enter house. I heard the door. I heard the door open. Hello? No. How the hell? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get murdered. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. How are you doing today, Fruity? Welcome in. You step into the living room. You stand inside for a moment and allow the memories to flood back. It's horrid. To your right is the laundry room. Further in front of you is the dining room. To your left is a hallway. Go to laundry room. I'm glad that you're starting to get better. Keep resting. I don't like it when my friends aren't feeling well. Oh yeah, I forgot you were gonna watch the Beast. Did you tickle the inside of her mouth this time? You step through the doorway into the laundry room. The smell of detergent fills your nose. More laundry will need to be done soon enough. In front of you is the coffee room. Behind you is the living room. Good. Go to living room. Oh, I can hear her moving around in the other rooms and I hate it. I don't know how easy it is for y'all to hear it. It's spooky though. Go to dining room. The dining room. So many meals eaten here alone. You're so tired of seeing this place. The living room is to your left, to your right is the kitchen. Go to kitchen. Kitchen is just as you remembered. Feels so nostalgic. For many hours spent reheating frozen TV dinners. Ahead of you is the dining room, behind you is the coffee room, to your right is the garage door. Use axe on... Wait, no. Go to garage door. I think it's locked though. Like, I think it's boarded up. Stand in front of the garage door. The wood boards you had added still stand sturdy against the wall. Maybe it's time for him to see. Use axe on wood boards. You put your force into a great swing. The boards all split by your hand. The garage is open. Come and see. Hello? Oh, this is horrible. Hello? Not a cat. That's a... For the art. Dear God. Alright. I want to listen. Not dear God. Can I look at my journal? Oh, these just show the transcriptions. Okay. I am missing one note and or cassette tape. Michael's cat Sabrina. Her entrails are splayed out on the hood of his car. I feel sick. Well. Oh, there's 4 bodies. Okay. I'm stepping in puddles of blood. We'll just close that and pretend that's not an issue. I'm sure it's fine. I keep thinking this is a... Oh. Okay, okay. Alright. Go back. I am gonna goop my shoes. I saw? Let's see. Go back. Leave. Be done. Set game to no. I keep hitting the wrong button. Oh no. Where do I go from here? Hello? Attic's locked. I think I need a key. What else am I supposed to look at? Bad pizza box. What did I miss in here? Hello? Is there a key? I learned that I have to step on the puddles of blood in viscera cleanup, right? That's the done thing? Oh! Key! Added key! Is this all some sort of sick game? I don't even know if I want to go up there. I see him! I see him! He's there! I don't want to go in there! Michael? This is why you never put man in hole! This is exactly why we never put man in hole. Because you put man in hole, and it just ends up being a mess. I kind of regret not looking at the rest of the house now. That's okay. I don't want to go up here. Hello? Oh, it's moving on its own and I hate that. No, let me look around! Great, more bodies! You love to see it. Oh, jeez. Maybe.
Hello, this is Michael Krieger, age 32. And today, we're speaking with, drumroll please, Dr. Miller. How are you feeling today, Doctor? Oh, Dr. Miller seems to be a bit shy at the moment, but, I'm sure she'll warm up once she gets settled at the house. Her husband, on the other hand, is being a bit more difficult. The game is almost ready to go. I just need a few more participants to act as props, and then everything will be set up perfectly. I know we haven't talked for some years now, but knowing my playtester, he'll be here as soon as word gets out that I'm gone. Someone should come looking for me soon enough. I should probably put that note out. And hey, if you're listening to this, I really want to thank you for everything. I know you're probably a bit freaked out right now, but I wouldn't be doing my job if you weren't. I just know that of anyone, you'd understand the importance of what I'm doing. Now I know,
Michael, I think you might be a bit unwell.
Kids, but I can only assume you've matured since then, right? Ah, what am I saying? I know you'll understand. Okay, I need to get this finished up. You are in for a treat. Goodbye.
Michael? Michael, I think we need to talk. Hey, pal. I don't think this is it. You step into the living room. You can feel every moment of anticipation. I can't back out of this screen either. You can feel every moment of anticipation rush past you as you become aware that you're creating your masterpiece. You are a true artist in every sense of the word. To your left is the hallway. To your immediate right is the laundry room. Ahead and to the right is the dining room. Go to hallway. You step into the hallway. The carpet is dull. The walls are bland. To your left is the bathroom. Ahead to your right is the bedroom. Directly in front of you is the ladder to the attic. Behind you is the living room. Go to bathroom. The blue wallpaper in this bathroom feels like it's part of the past life. Can't wait for that life to be over. There's not much for you to do here. Behind you is the hallway. Go back. Go to hallway. Go to bedroom. The bedroom is your one safe space. All of your work, all leading to this. As you look into the room, reminiscing on all of their failings, you understand now that you're going to achieve greatness. Go to hallway, go to living room. Go to dining room? What were the other options that we had? Dining room. We read this one. I just want to see what he has to say about stuff, and I also want to see if I can get him to go into the garage. Go to kitchen. Kitchen is just as you remembered. It feels so nostalgic. Go to garage door. You stand marveling at your work. All of this had led to this moment. Your lives are a set piece, and you're an auteur. Ahead of you is the dining room. Behind you is the coffee room. Go to coffee room. The coffee room is so quaint. Small box of a room with a table and chairs. It's made to relax. Behind you is the laundry room, beside you sits the circuit breaker, in front of you is the kitchen. Go to circuit breaker. Look at circuit breaker. Examine circuit breaker. Oh, I'm spelling circuit wrong, that's why. It helps to spell properly. Circuit breaker is an old rusty box. Inside sits a switch. You switch? I'm gonna switch off the power doing this. Examine switch. Flip switch. You flip the switch. There's a metallic click before the world becomes drenched in darkness. Everything is perfect. Flip switch. Well, I've fucked myself. Go to laundry room. Go to living room. Go to hallway. Go to attic. You step slowly up the attic's ladder, one foot in front of the other. Each step making a subtle creaking sound. You pull yourself up using the axe for leverage. Oh, I can hear it. All around you are your past works. None have held the same feeling as this. This is special. Directly opposite of you, across the room, is a man at the computer. You want to get closer. Oh, you step ever so closer to the man. Oh! He appears to be sweating, shaking. You know you've done it. This is your magnum opus. You feel your chest tighten with excitement. You've never felt this way in your life. It's addicting. You stand in the center of the attic. The man's still in front of you. You want to get closer. Go back? Nope. Take another step closer. The man's posture is tightened. You can almost see the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. He's so pure, so helpless. Your mouth waters. Stand a step away from the man. You want to get closer. You step forward until you nearly bump into the man's seat. Your smile hurts so badly. You grip your axe so tightly that your hands begin to burn. You've never felt more alive. You try your best to contain yourself, but you're verging on animalistic. It's euphoria. You're sure you can feel your hot breath on his neck. You are an artistic genius. Stand right behind the man. Go back. Leave man. Examine man. Use axe on man. Ah! You lift the axe ever so carefully over your head. You think to yourself, we never left. Oh, I hate this. I really liked this. I think of all the games that we've tried so far, this one has been my favorite. Like, it got it all right. It got the atmosphere right. And it's all self-imposed scares more than anything. Dang. I don't know. I also just love the, like, text adventure style of game. And I love that, like, a bunch of indie games have been, like, trying to recreate that over the last couple of years. Like with this one, or even, like, the beginning of Buddy Simulator. There've been a couple of other ones. I think there was one about, like, a haunted house, and it was similar to this in that, like, what you typed in the game, like, ended up affecting, like, the overworld area. This was dope, though. I really liked this one. That was awesome. Alright, while the credits are playing, I'm gonna go turn my fan on. A little stuffy up here. Also, the voice acting was really good in this. Sound design, top tier. I do wish that there were more options for controlling the sound, because a lot of the, like, computer beeps and things like that, the computer itself was really loud. The voices could have done with being a little louder. And just a couple of other little things like that, but it was good. I liked it. I really liked that. Let's go. Might I leave the game? Okay. Yeah, that one was dope. Gonna keep an eye on this dev team, Fire Games. They were very good. I would like to exit the game, though. Please and thank you. Cool. Great. Parting words. Hold on.
Hi there, my name is Connor Rush. I am a 20-year-old college student from West Virginia, and I'm the dude that made Fire Games. I made this company when I was 10 years old, and the name definitely has not aged poorly. You may know me from making video games like Summerland, or TikToks, like this one. In a legal sense, I'm a CEO, but I usually like to end my games with a small text message saying thank you for giving my game the time of day. But this time, I decided to go all out and make a video, because as of recording this, I've finished developing We Never Left. And I still have 2 weeks until DreadX needs my build. So if you're watching this, congratulations, that means you beat the game. Or I decided to post this on YouTube like a year after releasing it. I can't help myself. I thrive off the attention of strangers online. But I would personally and sincerely like to thank you for purchasing DreadX Collection 5 and giving We Never Left a shot. I don't know, you might have pirated it. If that's the case, lock your windows at night. This was my first attempt at doing horror, like, ever, so I'd really like...
Alright, I will watch this on my own at some point. But that's cute. That's cute. I like it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be checking out some of their other stuff. I looked it up because I thought they were a dev that I knew. But they are not. But if this is the kind of stuff that they put out, I would like to check out their other things. Guess I would like to return to Outpost 3000. Let's go. That was really cool, though. Yeah, I liked that. Like I said, I think of all the games that we've played, all 7 games now at this point that we've checked out for this collection, that one has been my favorite. Alright, come on. Load up. Hey! Perfect. On to the next one. Vestige. Which, we don't have too many more to check out. I don't think we'll be finishing this today, but one could hope. Yeah. Whoa! You are loud! Please! Oh... my goodness. We'll turn it to about there. Alright, return. vestige. Hey, your dad and I have planned to go to Italy for 2 weeks during our vacation. We know you've recently had a tough time at work and wondered if you want to take care of our house while we're gone. Could be a good opportunity for you to unwind somewhere familiar. How does that sound? Do I have to? Whoa! Whoa! Oh, I'm sorry. Is this a point and click? Also, not the blinking. I've been busy renovating since I lived here. I should find the guest room and put my stuff there. Oh, Lami, are you sick? Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. People have been giving Lamia food that she cannot eat, and it has been making her ill. And I hate it. Also, yeah, the fact that I have a button to do a 180, not a fan of that. My poor baby. What is this? Why can't I pick that up? Doesn't matter. We have to find the guest room. My poor sick kitten. Hold on just a second. Okay. Is it here? Is this the guest room? Here? Hey, I should water the plants before I forget. Where's the watering can? Oh, it's so dark. I am bad at understanding where I am in relation to anything with this. Watering can in here? Watering can in the kitchen? Watering can in the kitchen. Kitchen watering can. Water that plant! Water that plant! Water that plant? Water that plant? How about that plant? Plants in the living room? No plants in the living room. Plants in the weird closet? No plants in the closet. There are 3 doors here and I don't... Oh, it's so dark. Water. Is that... I feel like it would tell me if I've watered them all. Right? Hello? Plant. So, I haven't got anything planned until tomorrow. I should check the attic for some old stuff. No! No! No, you shouldn't! First, you should turn on some lights in this freaking house! Listen! I tend to wander around the house with no lights on, but this is ridiculous. Oh, I hate this. Oh, my old Tri-Box! Cool that they've kept it, here all this time. Wonder if it still boots up. Right, I need to find an old analog TV to plug it into. Hope they've kept one of those as well. I hate it in here. There was one in this room? Not this room. I saw one. No, in that room. It was right here. Right here. Awesome. Guess I'll set this up in the guest room. Okay. This is not the guest room. I don't know where the guest room is. I've been there twice now and I still don't know where it's located. Here? Found it. We're fine. Focus. What's
Once
to
every
move?
year, the dead can communicate with the living. To deliver their messages, one is chosen to rise from the dead and become the courier.
Male madness, memento mori. We got a skeleton courier. Let's go. I loved this game as a kid. The driving, the levels, the atmosphere. There was something really special about it. Deliver all mail, get 200 points, jump over windmill. It's Death Stranding. Hey! Glad to hear they're in a better place. Thank you. Woo!
Rest in peace.
Okay. I vaguely understand what I'm supposed to be doing. I want to do a sick flip! Let me do a sick flip! Got 3 points.
Rest in peace.
Oh no. Oh no. Something spooky is gonna happen in this house and I'm gonna be too busy playing this freaking game. I never thought I'd hear from her again. Thank you. I love the music. Woo!
Groovy.
You're proud of me? I wish you said that when I was young. Oh. It's a cool skeleton. I like the skeleton. Woo!
Terrific.
Emmy! Hi, friend. I'm a cool skeleton. Felt guilty ever since I remarried. Such a relief to know that they understand I love you both. It's time to get some points. Let's go. How's it going, friend? How are you doing?
Far out.
Far out! Give me those points!
Fantastic.
Can this just be the whole dang game?
Terrific.
We got enough points. Let's go. Nice. Good job. I'm sorry. Am I supposed to ramp to get out of the level? Game is called Vestige. Oops. But I'm playing the tumble. But we're playing an in-game game. In-game game. I've already forgotten what the title of this game was. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Look at how cool we are.
Rest in peace.
I've died. Again. I've died again. Yeah!
Groovy.
Groovy indeed. Go to the stone ruins. Aww. There's something right behind me. Was there? Nothing. You left me to die. I swear I heard a noise from the bathroom. Stay away! Stay away from the ruins! I don't know where the bathroom is. Male Madness Memento Mori. Thank you. That was the name. Travis would know. A picture of my friend Marcus. Must have been on that trip not long before he died. Don't look at it! It comes when you blink. What the hell was that? It's all somehow connected to that game. I need to find out more. Is it? I don't know that that's true. This is fairly horrifying, though. Deliver all mail, get 200 points, enter the portal. Okay. Yeah, it's a little... But listen to that music! Thank you, dear. It's been lonely here without him. Hi! 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 Hello! Ah! Thanks, I hated it! We need better friends! Preferably of the not dead variety. I don't know how to get up here. This is horrible. Oh, a letter from my sister. Wait. No, you fell? You're dead? Well, that's unfortunate. Don't be dead. Hi! Stop! Ah! Oh. It's fine.
Terrific.
It's easy enough to avoid them. I just need to do it all very quickly. Right? They won't let us play our game! Let me play my game! I have fallen over. Mark! Mom said I can play for 15 more minutes! You have to wait! I enjoyed every second of eating your corpse. Oh! Did we eat our friend? We don't eat friends. Hey, rule number 1 of cannibalism, you don't eat your friends. Yeah, but even still... What? It's not my fault that they fell down. I like lying up high. Living up high. Oh, I should have got my points. Oh well. I need some more time.
Groovy.
Get the time. Get the time. Whoa! My score was 69. Nice.
Far
Oh, this is
out.
horrible. Horrible, horrible, terrible, awful. Listen, I just need more points.
Rest in peace.
I have failed.
Game over. I live
Retry.
again.
Let's go. Okay, I know where to deliver all the mail, so let's just quickly get all the points that we need,
Rad.
and then we can deliver our mail. I also understand now how to avoid the monster, who is just being incredibly rude and demanding a turn on the console, but he'll get his turn. This is I was gonna say the noise isn't particularly terrifying to me, and it's probably because it's the noise that I make when I chase you, Emmy. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry, really. Turn. It's not my fault that fell down. I like living high.
Terrific.
Terrific.
Rest in peace.
Sad. Sad. Excuse you! Get away from me. I'm playing my video games. I can't pause it. I can. I just don't want to. No. No. Go away. Go away. I am very bad at this. Listen, please just deliver the letter. No! I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna have to do this again. Please! Ugh. Ugh. Get the time. Why are your turns so wide? This is horrible. Everything is terrible. I'm gonna have to do it again. Please, stop wiggling.
Oh, I live again.
Okay. 150 points. Here I was trying to shoot for 200. Okay, this helps a bit. No! Okay. Actually, it's fine.
Rest in peace.
It's not fine. Our skeleton is kind of bad. Don't tell Fruity I said that.
Groovy. Rest in peace.
Please. Please. I like him, he's just very bad at his job. He's real rad, but he's also just very bad. Gotta add skeleton slander to the content warnings, I think. No! I haven't seen that monster in a hot minute. I wonder what he's doing. One more. One more letter. Ah! It's true. I think I'm mostly just disappointed that he's not wearing any, like, any gear, no helmet, no knee pads, nothing. His poor bones are going to shatter. I've seen the aftermath of those kinds of accidents. The skeleton is gonna be history.
Terrific.
Please, I need the hitbox on these to be larger.
Far out.
Far out. Listen! My skeleton is tiny and very floaty. I'm not gonna be able to do this. This is horrible and tragic, and I am sad.
Groovy.
Why? I was so close. I need 25 more points. I'm stuck in a fucking corner.
Rest in peace.
I did it?
Rest in peace.
I can't get out of this corner. I live here now. I can't move. What if I just leave? What if I just leave the game? What then? Oh, this is fine. Possibly? I know jack shit about bikes. Okay, I gotta head home now. Mom says I can't be out after 9 p.m. My parents got really pissed after I came home late last time. Oh, okay. Well, finish the level tomorrow then. Sure. Hey, do you want to come along part of the way home? I'm tired. That movie we watched kind of freaked me out. Can't you follow me at least? Or can't you follow at least to the woods? Hey, put on these headphones. Listen to some tunes on the way home. You can borrow them until tomorrow. Nem just knows that that's a cool motorcycle. Okay, sure, thanks. See you then. You'll be fine. Insert disc 2. Now where is that disc? Where is that disc? That's a cool disc. Oh, found it. Hopefully the disc isn't gunky. Okay, now I can return to the game. We're not gonna comment on the fact that you got a gunky disc. Oh. Yeah, I wouldn't know. Deliver all mail, get 200 points, jump over the train! Ah, it's snowy! No! I jumped over the train, though, so that's cool. We did it. Look at me. Look at me being so good. Speed strats. Guess my neighbors didn't make it after they were snowed in. Okay, can I... Sick train jump! Whoa!
Rest in peace.
I'm not entirely sure why my camera freaked out, but that's fine. Okay, can we... ZXE, 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 ZXE. Sure. Sure. Alright, whatever you say, buddy. I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my face when I'm with you.
Fantastic.
Woo! Woo! That's all the mail. So I just need to get points. Hi, hey, swim.
Groovy. Rest
Oh,
in peace.
oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Woo! Music is a little spooky. I'm sure it's fine, though.
Rad.
Red. I just need some more points. Just 38 more points, okay? I take it back, the skeleton is dope. We just had a bit of a disagreement for a minute. It was fine. Woo!
Fantastic. Rest in peace.
My objectives are complete. Where do I go now? Woo!
Rad.
Oh, I have to wait until the time goes. Okay, I understand. Woo!
Fantastic.
Look at me go! I'm the coolest! Oh. We're a real cool skeleton.
Terrific.
Look at this, I've more than doubled my score.
Fantastic.
Go to the train crossing, I can do that. Oh, he's gonna get hit! Oh no! Oh my god! Go up! Hey, pal! I'm here, Marcus, I'm with you. I'm sorry. Aww. Vestige. Is that it? Aww. This just in. Don't listen to music when there's trains around. You'll get got. You'll get fucking eaten by a train. That was cool though, I liked it. Eat your food, I mean. Get your food. I did like that though, that was cool. I was a little worried about the like point and click aspect of it, but it worked. Ugh. Okay. Neat. Vestige. Cool game. Reload. It was a cat. There was a cat on the screen. I just wanted to see if Lamia was behind me, and she is not. Tragic, really. Alright, where is our next gift? Where is the Strangle Maw? Hello? There can't be that many rooms left unopened, right? So, like, what am I missing? I have to go upstairs? Might be more stuff upstairs. Oh yeah, there's like a whole... Never mind, it's not a whole other side. I just imagined there was a whole other side to this area. Solar Theater, we've been there. Ball pit was bad. We don't want to go there. We're stuck and won't budge. Okay, so I can't get there yet, and that's okay. We've gone in there. Oh, this is open now. Door stuck and won't budge. Door stuck and won't budge. That's where they want me to go, but what else is back here? I do hate when that happens. It's even worse when you run into the mirror. Hello? Andy. Swipe to unlock. Christopher, Carl, Jill, Dale, and Aaron. Trash duty order. Clean your feet, Aaron. Dale, Carl, Aaron, Jill. Dale did it. So it's Carl, Aaron, and then Jill's turn. Okay, what is this?
Hey Dale, that paranoid fuck is getting worse every day. Keeping the key for lock-ins, the lock on the fridge, and now he's keeping our fucking work shoes locked up? Fuck him. Jill's the only one with the code, but hell if I know what her locker code is. All I know is I saw Carl putting in his, and in typical Carl fashion, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. God help me. I'm working with fucking idiots.
Well, Carl is 1, 2, 3, 4. Boop-a-boop. Nudie Mag from 1986. Okay. 1986? No. 1986? I also miss Ghost Kisser. 1986? Wow! Real? Does that say Jill on it? No, okay. Not the 0 or 8008. What does this say? Felt them inside me, crawling, twisting, excreting their runny inners. They remind me of you, Jill. They come to my aid when I feel alone. I run my tongue across their backs to feel one with them. 2 antennae, 2 wings, 6 legs, 1 soul. Could not be any coincidence, Jill. Aaron, are you okay? Ew. 2261. Jill, I see you don't work on 720, making my heart flutter more than I can express. Perhaps we could coordinate proper time together. Your impatient, devoted little love bug, Aaron. Yeah, opal food. Do you want the cockroaches? Can't do anything with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Christopher, what is your code? Oh, jeez. Wait, is it like the number of items in their thing? So 1, 2, 3, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 6, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 6, 5, 8. No. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Dale, Carl, Aaron, Jr. Hi, Devo. Dale, Carl, Aaron, Jill. Why did I call her Junior? So I said, what, 3, 6, 5, 8? So is it 6. No, this is 5. 2? I would assume 2? Hold on. It'll be Dale first, which is 5. Carl second, which is 3. Aaron is 8. 5, 3, 8, 6. 5, 2, 8, 6. Is it? Those kind of look like numbers. But backwards? 137? I have no idea. Is it top shelf, maybe? Maybe it's top or bottom shelf. So 2... Oh my god, hold on. 2530. 3, 2, 0, 5. Three, 2, 0, 5. Or 2, 1, 6, 2, 1. Oh my god. 2, 1, 1, 6. Christopher 0720. Oh, I hate that. Aww. Sorry, that's from one of the other games. Aww, that's cute. This is all very cute. Okay. The little pig is from another game from another DreadX collection. The name of which I cannot think of right now. Unfortunately. Resver. Unlock. It's the 20th anniversary of the tragic fire that claimed dozens of lives at the legendary Resver nightclub. An invitation arrives. It's time for a night to remember at the resurrected Resver. Let's go. Also, what time is it? An hour and a half. Oh. Excuse me while I don't know how to breathe. Dear God, that is loud. Hold on a second. Oof. That's still incredibly loud! I've like turned it all the way down. I like this art style. That looks much better. I'll turn it up just a little bit more, but this is fine. Let's go. Yeah, I dig this art style. It's cool. Alright, what do we got? Sorry, the mouse is incredibly sensitive. Like, ridiculously so. Okay. This reversed? No, that's just made it worse. Okay, well, that doesn't seem to do anything. Cat! I can pet the cat! Get in. I have a wallet. Turned off our television. You're what's making noise. Yo, yo, better not be sleeping. Resver's reopening. Got invites. This inside a deli, it's inside a deli speakeasy style. Meet us there, we're on our way. Hi. Hi. Give me my money. Is there anything else I need over here? Cat! Get. Okay. Is there anything else I need? It doesn't seem like there's anything else I can interact with, so... We got our hat. It's time to go. I will not be pressing any key to skip. I dig this. It's just it's a cool visual style. Oh! You can tell it's gonna be a spooky game. I can play now. I understand. I was waiting for it to do something else, and it's... Nope, it's time for me to control the man! Cat! I love that we can pet the cats in this game! Hello. He does not like me, apparently. Ice, beer, tobacco, CBD, hot food, candy news! I have a crowbar. Also, cat. Meow indeed. Who's this? I like your mohawk. Are you upset that it is raining? Do I need to get you an umbrella? make an umbrella with this crowbar and other things. Maybe I just go inside. Maybe I'm just overthinking everything. Oh! I like this music. Want me to go that way? Oh, I see. I understand. They did say it was like speakeasy style, so of course it's gonna be behind like a different business facade. This seems incorrect, though. This doesn't seem right. This isn't sketchy or anything. Let's go. Yeah? Okay. I like the open floor plan. Just trying to see if there's anything back here. There is not. Time to go towards the giant person. Oh, gross. Hold on a second. My resolution's all fucked up, isn't it? No, so why is it... Sorry, why is there so much lag? This game is not happy about me existing. Hold on. It was only in that section that it was stuttering, right? I'm gonna try and keep an eye on that. Money! We're talking money! Yo, you made it! Dope! This place is banging! Trio's really slaying tonight! Let's rage! This is a lot to look at, and I kind of dig it. Gotta stay with my friends. Oh, they vanished! Oh, they vanished! Oh, we have fallen into a hole. Maybe I shouldn't have stayed with my friends. I can stop my fall by hitting the wall. Whoa! Oh, it's... We are falling onto people! That's what's keeping us from dying. What just happened? Somebody hit me. A body hit me. And I died. Let's go this way. Maybe. Maybe this isn't our problem. Maybe this is an issue not for me. I don't have to resolve this. I just have to go. What is that? Where'd you go? Oh, it's filling up. We are filling up. This is horrific. Maybe I don't like this place, actually. Yeah, speakeasy behind the deli seems like not the place that we should be. There isn't really anywhere for me to go, is the thing. Alright, we'll go here. This seems fine. We're just gonna go down the river of blood. I suppose. Okay, maybe I don't stand in the water. We just walk next to. I keep clipping through the wall and I'm scared that I'm gonna like fall through the world. Wonder no more. This is what being flushed. This is what being flushed is like. That was terrible. That looks like death. Can I get in here? What is happening? Okay, well, they're recording stuff. That's a thing that's going on. Oh, this is incredibly disorienting. Oh. Okay. What is happening? What is happening? Hi, Devo. Oh. Just trying to see if there's like anything coming after me. Maybe I don't stop running. I feel like I'm on an incredibly bad trip. Hi, friend. Can I not? I can't talk to friend. Friend has nothing to say to me. What is going on? Okay. It's like Windows Media Player Visualizer. Hi, David. Things are occurring. And it's a lot, but hey, you know, it's cool. We're here for it. Whoa! How's it going, friends? How are you doing? Well, there's a person there. And I can't... Okay. Oh, there's multiple people here. Okay. Again. Maybe it's not... I shouldn't have looked. Don't respond when someone whistles at you. I should know better. I think I did. I think I did dead. But I think it was intended? As bad as it seems, I would like to go to this party. Oh, sorry, Devo. Welcome back, Emmy. The death was in 10 dead. Correct. That deserves a heh. Sound commands work again? Thank goodness. This is a whole dang thing. I like it. That was it? Alright, cool! People show up, they get turned into meat, bad things happen. I liked that, that was awesome. Incredibly short. Very cool, though. Give it a second to load up. Hi, Devo. Mo. Devo says Mo. Yeah, I really liked the art style. I would like to see like a full game. One that's less like... Sorry. I was just back here yelling. Definitely something that's like more, like a little longer, more interactive in that style, but that was cool. It was a cool experience. Also, like I said, we will read the comic at the very end, once we have done everything. Skeleton pussy. Scussy. Why? Why? Your computer's a risk. That's what it says, Emmy. Look. Skeleton pussy. Scussy. Don't yell at David. It was my fault. I brought it about. It's true. I said it first. What you gonna do about it? Hang in there. Can I? Safe. I don't have a code. Incidents. Property, county police, evidence. On the morning of April 8th, 4 youths discovered a body while filming an Urbex video for their horror series IRL Backrooms. Conclusive identification was impossible due to damage to the face and the absence of hands. Clean cuts and saw marks on bones indicate removal of extremities to be deliberate. Coroner's report does not conclude that facial trauma was similarly intentional, with various fractures indicating a crime of passion. DNA analysis has also proved difficult due to the site's extremely toxic conditions. The sole identifying feature was a damaged Tobias. Finger. Tobias? Friendship bracelet, which at the time of recovery was missing the main charm, a cartoon skeleton playing a trumpet. Doot doot! However, enough of the bracelet remained for police to conclude the body belonged to the missing child. Last seen attending a birthday party at the local children's entertainment establishment, Outpost 3000. Reports indicate Blank entered a van of unknown make at some point during the scheduled after-dinner free play hour. Parents were able to positively identify the bracelet and clothes as belonging to Blank, though were similarly incapable of identifying the body itself. What happened was... Scussy. Wait, what's the video? Or what's the thing? That looks like an ice pick. That's because it's an ice pick. Ice pick was found in the possession of local transient Craig Gaitama! G.A. Daima! During a camp relocation cleanup initiative, blood on the weapon was consistent with 8. A local child reported missing several months earlier. While no body has yet to be recovered, DNA samples match references provided by Blank's parents. Mr. Glima asserts his innocence, claiming to have found the weapon wrapped in a red and white striped sock during nightly dumpster dives at the Blank Strip Mall. Why is this here? While such a sock was found on this person, no matching pair was recovered. Further questioning was impossible as Mr. Glima was found dead in holding due to severe blunt force trauma. While none of the inmates in holding at the time claimed to have witnessed the event, all to various degrees have stated that the child murderer had it coming. That's a van. But also, welcome back, Fruity. Van was found abandoned at the Blank Marsh, on the outskirts of Blank. While all distinguishing marks had been removed, traces of purple and green paint were found on the door frames. The back portion of the van contained a number of large bloodstains covering the carpet and seats. Don't know what that is. Large white refrigerator. Blank recovered. Blank, blank, blank park. Initially recovered sealed with duct tape, pictured above. Police were alerted to blank when a passerby discovered a large quantity of blank pulling under the refrigerator. Further analysis reveals blank. After removing the seals, blank no less than 6 bodies. All 6 bodies had blank and missing blank, blank, blank found blank teeth for all 6 bodies. Blank conclude that blank, blank bodies, blank, blank, blank 6, blank, blank S, blank, blank I, blank X, blank, blank 8 bodies recovered in sight. Cross-contamination makes positive identification impossible, though repeated testing has shown no less than a dozen sources. In addition, a blank middle school t-shirt was recovered. The right sleeve, typically depicting the three-eyed cat school mascot, had been removed. Booyah! Keep forgetting to back up my data. Sexy! Ah. Girl! Uggs! Swussy! Sorry. Swussy! Nightmind is a four-eyed cat. Oh yeah. Swussy's happening. This is horrible. Okay, but the three-eyed cat, I thought it had more than 3 eyes, but there's a multi-eyed cat in the previous Dread X's as well. Swussy. Sorry, I need to stop. Business! It's good for business! Hang in there. What could the code possibly be? I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. It was horrible. Remember to hydrate if you're crying. It's important. I don't know what the code could possibly be here. And this is upsetting to me. Booyah! Oops, I keep hitting the wrong button. I've read all of the... Heavy, please. I can get you big cache, though. Big cache can occur. I don't know why... Hold on a second. You might see voice mod. Why wasn't voice mod open? Voice mod? Please. You should be open. Hold on a second. Maybe we'll just hop over here for a second while I try to figure out what's going on. Please. Voice mod, I need you to function, okay? You are open because because OBS registers that my voice is here, and that's where my mic is going through. Oh my god. Okay, why isn't this working? Not that. Not me hitting the wrong thing. Okay. Hold on just a second. Are you back now? Okay. Sorry, I was relaunching voice mod. Should be fine now? Consider? Consider? This is a problem. Voice mod is running, is the thing. Allie, thank you for the contribution to the gummy hunt. Hey! Thank you, Emmy. We did it! Y'all did it! Y'all ding dang did it! Gummy hunt is go! Okay, I don't know why voice mod is being such a butthole with Emmy, please.
Welcome to the Swissy Stussy train. Alright, big case should be on. I've set your 5-minute timer. You're welcome. Good. It should spook you. It should spook you, is the thing. It should be scary. I just have to manually turn on voice mod right now. I think I just need to reconnect it to my whatever. To my stream deck. Voice mod's being a butthole. Basically. Okay. I'm not sure what the code is, or how to figure it out. I guess we do have... We have 4 bits of information, right? So we've got, like, the property, which has a 2 on it. I don't know what this would be, 8 maybe? We'll say 2 for right now. 2 something 5. 2566 maybe? 1. Okay, so 2516? 2526? 2586? It's the only other thing I can think of. Okay, hold on. 2546. 2556. Oh god, the glow stick with the cashew pork. 2576. 2586. 2596. 2506. That's a 2. I don't see any numbers in this one. These are good combos. I like it. I like it. Is there... Is it 8? Sorry, I'm trying to like... Two, 8... 2, 8, 5, 6. I did those in the wrong order originally, didn't I? 2, 8, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, I understand. I just did it bad. I mixed up my numbers, it's fine. Take this back to my birthday table to open it! Let's go! New game! It's game time! It's been at risk this whole time! How did you only notice? How did you only just notice? Listen. Okay, so we did Resver. It's time for Ludo Malika. It's past midnight, Mom and Dad are gone for the weekend. There's no better time than now to try playing Ludo Malika. It's just a board game, right? Something feels wrong. That's okay. I noticed. I noticed for you. Whoa! Why are we opening up as a window? Why are we not in full screen mode? Hold on a second. Game? Ludo Malika is not responding. There it goes. Right? No, for real. The real horror is borders. Let's go. Actually, before we start, I think I'm gonna take a bathroom break. I just realized I have to pee. I also need to refill my water. So,
let's turn my voice back to normal because I forgot that I had that on. I will hydrate as soon as I get back. Okay. We will leave this here. Oops. This is fine. I'll do a stretch too, don't worry. Don't worry. Look, we'll do the stretch right now. But I will also stretch as I walk to the bathroom. And do all that good stuff. Okay, it's pee time. I'll have words on stream up for y'all. It won't take me very long. I just, like I said, need to use the restroom, refill my water, and stretch. So, you should do the same as well. But if you won't, here's some fucking words for you to do. Have fun. You found more than I could have, David, so props to you. That one was hard. What the heck? Alright, well it's fine, because we're done now. I have voice mod connected to my stream deck again. I don't know what happened. It was telling me that it, like, wasn't open, but it was. Voice mod was open, in fact. Also, my internet's tripping out and I don't know why. I hope it's not an issue. I think there's, like, anything that I can do to, like, stop it from doing that, but apparently the game is playing right now. Wasn't prepared for that, but okay. Mother's always forbidden you from playing it. She says it's cursed, but tonight she's not home to stop you from finding out for yourself. Assumably that's this game. It said something about our grandfather owning it. WADs to move, left mouse button to interact. QE to lean, control to crouch, escape to open menu. You must be alone. Done that. All the lights must be off. The door must be closed. Fiend's Isle? I think I know that. I don't know if it's a real game or not, but I do remember there being a game with that style of graphic. It's an indie game with that style of graphics that you get to fight skeletons. I think you are a skeleton and you get to fight skeletons. I would also play that. All the lights must be off. I want to turn these off? Oh, do you mean all of the lights? Right? It's 100% Jumanji. I will not be convinced otherwise. It's Jumanji. Robin Williams is gonna show up, and it's gonna be great. Whoa. And it's gonna be a good time. This house has some art. This house has some art. These are choices that they have made about the kind of art that they have in their home. Out on display. Hey! Alright, well that's fine. There are worse things to be turned into than a monkey? Question mark? Okay, well that's fine. It's the Cthulhu dating sim. Listen. We loved Lynetta here. Lynetta was delightful. The King in Yellow, not so much. Lynetta, though. Lynetta was perfect. You've done it! That's not 3. You didn't move me 3 spaces? Where did my mouse button go? More octopodes. This is fine. That's 6. Hey! 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 You're ruining my game! Listen! Lights are supposed to be off! Stop turning my lights on! Oh my god. What? Okay, that's fine. Heard somebody close a door. At least they're closing the doors. This is terrible. I just want to play my freaking board game. Let me play my board game. Apparently I'm not alone? Well, that seems incorrect. Hello? That's just wrong. No one's here. Listen, buddy. This ain't funny. I'm trying to play my board game. I'm gonna find you on these stairs and I'm gonna push you down them. You have to go. Go away! I can keep rolling until it lands on a question mark, it seems like, and then something happens in the house and I have to do something about it. Feel like I'm not alone now. Do you pay bills? Do you pay bills here? To be stomping around? Making all that noise? Stop. Stop. I'm gonna get so desensitized to all the noises that are happening that I will... when something actually scary happens, I will be caught off guard. Right? This fucking guy! Come on! I would believe that. I'm gonna walk down those stairs and just slip and fall at a point. Alright, that's a lot of question marks in a row. You keep trying to spook me with this whole, like, you're not alone thing, and it's like, no, it's just more annoying than anything. We turning on the lights again? Listen! The lights are not off still. I was just double checking. Hey! 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 You can't just come in here and waste all this electricity. It's the hash slinging slasher! I think you're right. I think Fruity's right. I think my house is infested with the hash slinging slasher. We gotta go. 6. They're so stompy. Come in. Absolute goober. I see you opening that door over there. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought! Do you like it when I shake the door? Two can play at this game. Demons these days, more like. No respect. Back in my day, demons just showed up and ate your face immediately. None of this door rattling nonsense. Nope, I'm gonna bully the Shosts. It's Shost bullying time. Is there gonna be something in my window finally? Hi. Hello. Oh. Oh, okay, so you're just gonna come into my house and punch me? Whoa. Whoa. Horrible. I see you there. You can't come in. Right? He just comes in and punches me in the nose. Fucking demon over here just being a rude house guest. Terrible. Miserable. Look, if he wants something, all he has to do is ask. Want my soul? Want my firstborn? Sure, it's all yours. Take it. All the lights must be off. Okay. We doing this again? You fool! The lights aren't off! Well, Mom lied. I'm still playing. Buddy. Buddy. Pal. Friend. My dude. Hi, I see you over there. Yeah? Okay. Ah! Not your firstborn, my firstborn. Baby is fine. I wouldn't sign anyone up to lose their firstborn if they don't want it. I'm just saying, you can have mine. 'Cause joke's on you, it's not happening. Okay. Turn that off. Emmy is probably laughing to themselves right now. That is a silly thing I did in a writing one time. Can you just activate? I would like to turn the light off. Okay, this is fine. The roly-poly head. This is fine. I just wish my man was a little less wiggly. Fuck! I was trying to close the door. It didn't work. Do you think I can run all the way back to the room? He'll disappear and then I can close the doors? Or do you think I have to do it in a single go? My thought is I have to do it in a single go. But I could be wrong. You know what? Maybe we turn off all of these lights first. Ugh. And then all I have to worry about is the door. Guy's an absolute jerk. He's horrible. Who does he think he is? Whoa, hey! No, sir, you can't! The spinning is making me nauseous, by the way. Right, it's against the rules. I'm safe! I'm safe! You can't get me here! Okay, maybe we don't turn the light on in the bedroom. I like doing it so I can, like, guarantee I know which door I'm going through. He's not the hash-slinging slasher, though. He's just some idiot. This is impossible. I am less than impressed with this one. Just saying. Genuinely, like, making myself sick watching my head roll like this. Come on. Get up! Let's go! No! I clicked on the door, I was looking at it and it still didn't close! I am upset. This is horrible. I don't wanna be here. on! I'm clicking on the thing and it's not turning off because apparently I'm not focused on just the right spots. This is horrible. And between the, like, head rolling and the heartbeat, I am starting to get a little sick to my stomach. I'm gonna try one or two more times and then we'll probably just call it here and move on to the next game. Is obnoxious. I didn't think that was gonna work, but it was worth a try. I guess. Can't look at that. I'm gonna be sick. Last try. Get up! Just let me go! Overall, thus far, I am less than impressed with this collection of games than I have been with previous Dread X stuff. This is impossible. Yes, I'm sure I want to quit. Yeah, maybe that is what, the end of the game is. It is now! I'll probably try and finish it off stream. I did finish Gallery off stream today. I recorded it. I might tack it on to the end of this for YouTube or just post it up on its own. I haven't decided just yet. But I finished Gallery. And I did like it. I liked the idea. I liked the concept. I liked the visuals. I didn't like how they pulled it off, though. Like, some of those running sections were just so fucking obnoxious and horrible and bad. It was just dragged out, and it didn't need to be. Cat. Something is holding the dumpster shut. Maybe I should burn it off. Where are you gonna get fire, though? Gotta release baby from dumpster. It's release baby from dumpster day. Where does this go? Excuse me? Yeah, I just wish that some of the sections of Gallery were shorter. Or that we had more time during some of the, like, the timed portions. But yeah, overall, this is just not... I don't feel like this is as strong a collection as some of the other ones. It is cool to see that they are trying different things. And that they're involving new devs and stuff like that. I appreciate that, and I do like it. But... oh no. This could be a problem. Happy birthday, Chan. Oh, that is the wrong way. I don't think you can. I don't think you can, actually. That's a dead end. That's a dead end. That's fine. This is fine. You know... he is not our problem. We're just gonna keep going. Perfect. Let's release baby from dumpster. Or maybe we burn the dumpster. Hello? A present for me? Immediately forgetting baby. There is only present. Gifts. Alright. Beyond the curtain. Young child falls asleep during a puppet show and awakes alone in an old, musty theater. Finding all the doors to be bricked over, the child must face the darkness that lies beyond the curtains. Unlock. Let's play. This might be, depending on how long this one lasts. Sometimes you just throw baby away. Don't worry about it. The best experience, please wear headphones. Try to take your time and only run if necessary. Baby is fine, it's just a report. Oh no. Yeah, depending on how long this one takes. This game contains graphic, bloody violence, and gore. You heard it here first, folks. This might be the last one that we do for today. I'm trying to turn this down, and it's just not going well for me. Matt Reeves, though. I feel like I know this dev. Oh, apparently we've got a tornado warning going on as well in my area. That's cool. Hey. Hold on a second. Do I know any of their... I do! Okay. They did Nemesis, 2 Lines, and Look For Me, which I am familiar with. I don't think I've done any of these games on stream. Because I think I checked those out before I started streaming. But I am familiar with them. From what I remember, they're fine. It's not exactly a glowing review, I realize, but you know. Okay, hold on a second. Just need to double check this message since I'm being told that I need to prepare to go downstairs because tornado warning. Warning, not... Wait, it's a warning, not a watch. What is the difference between those? I can never remember. Warning means that a tornado's touching down, right? Yeah, warning means that either a tornado has been spotted or a radar has picked one up. Alright, well in that case, I think we'll save this for next week. So, yeah, I just looked it up. Thank you, though. So yeah, since there is a warning going on, I think I should probably end stream. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. Genuinely, I'm not tripped out about it. This is very normal. for us. But considering I'm getting text messages from other people in the household being like, I should probably at least go make sure that they're all fine. So I can't stick around for very long. Warning means taco is imminent. Watch means there are ingredients for a taco. That makes sense. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna head out. I can't do a big, long-winded goodbye or anything like that. There we go. Yeah, everyone be safe. Take care. Let's go say hi to Toads. We'll go ahead and set that rate up. I'll try and pop in real fast and say hello to them, but if I don't, somebody please let them know that I'm just in a tornado. and it's fine. But yeah, I love you. Take care of your dang selves. You can hear the ad playing in the background. This is fine. I'll see y'all later. Bye, friends. So, very bright. Like I said, I mostly just want to, like, I do want to finish it, because that was the plan anyway, and I figured, why not record myself doing that? And we've got, like, just the last area. Hopefully this won't take too long. I do have to start this section over again, which is unfortunate, but, you know, that's fine. I'm gonna turn the sensitivity up a little bit before we start. That's better. Right, I can still add sounds. Turn that down just a smidge. So that hopefully, oopsies, it isn't too much louder than me. Kinda looks like it is, though. Here's the fun thing about recording videos. No one is here to tell me if things are off or not working well. So that's gonna be fun to figure out on my own. But hey, we got this. Yeah, like, visually, I really liked this game. Oh my god. We're off to a great start, obviously. Been mounted on a wall in the lobby. Man, I need you to stop talking to me. I am gonna turn that down a little bit more. Oh. I want to like this. I really want to like this. But there's some aspects of it. Oh! That one doesn't stop when I look at it. Understood. Understood! Horrible. Miserable. Awful. Terrible. Whew! Okay. Yeah, I really want to like this. But sections like this just frustrate me. Oh, what do we got? Curator, art, humanity. I'm scared. If you're reading this, I'm most likely dead, or more accurately, repurposed. Paintings and pieces I've been noting and commenting on. They're people, not just in material, but in concept and in subject. These aren't paintings. These are illustrations. These are people's lives. The tone is the person's character. The colors are their blood and emotions. The frames are their bones and fortitude. When you look at a painting of 4 lonely planets in space, that's not oil on canvas. That's a family from down the street, feeling isolated from other family members, and choking in the void of endless, unreachable goals. Debt. Forget what you remember about your art teacher describing colors. Cold colors are sadness, and the warm colors are happiness. Everything is literal here. I don't know. I don't think it knows what emotions are. I don't think it knows what similes are. Who is the curator? What is the curator? Why is the curator? I dig the premise. I like the notes. I like the idea. I don't like the incredibly difficult chases. I don't like how incredibly dark it is at times. Like, it makes it nearly impossible to see. Fuck. I'm dead. I wish that I had more time to do those little sections. Don't. Yeah, I wish I had more time to do those little sections because it doesn't feel like I have much of a chance at all to accomplish it. I'm trying to put the battery in. I do appreciate that we heal over time, but those things attack so fast and they move so quickly that I just... This ends up being more frustrating than fun. This is the wrong way. I have gone the wrong way. John 78, mute and self-abuser. I love the art in this, is the thing. I wanna like it. Reader, listen to the whispers. Day 2, I think. I think it knows where I am. You should have listened to the whispers. Vents. I can't believe I actually said that. Oh well, this was gonna happen eventually. Oh god, it hurts to laugh. It's such nice skin, now I just have nice subcutaneous tissue. Oh yeah, that's some sexy stuff. Oh jeez, it hurts. If you're reading this, I hope the blood on the note doesn't dissuade you from the fact that you still have hope. Listen to the whispers. This isn't a gallery anymore. It's too late for me now, but if you get this far, kill this thing. Its mind is stuck in an echo chamber. It's stuck in this gallery. It doesn't know what actual reality is. It's twisted by only this sliver of existence. Sorry, for some reason I kept going back on that line. It isn't from here. I think it might be a corruption from some alien place. It feels like a weapon, a caltrop, a bomb crater. A trampler of once useful, productive space till nothing is left. Maybe it's the start of that thing about the war with the other universe? And to think I'm going out that way. That's pretty cool. Oh well, at least it's nice to think that someone's reading this. That makes me happy. Maybe you're even that first visitor I saw 2 days ago. Alex, I think? That was so long ago now. I'm gonna try to wander back out the way I came. Maybe the front door is unlocked? Can you imagine? Julie. Okay, well... That's the part that I need. I need 3 functional batteries. It's bad here. Battery is empty. In case you didn't know. I just want to put it down. Maybe I just let myself die. Maybe the trick is to just die. Have you considered dying? Those things are incredibly slow, but... what can I do about that? There's nothing to interact with on here. That pipe doesn't go anywhere that I can access. I can't... God. Is there a painting I can interact with? That's a thing, right? There's the... Oh. Those sequences are too long. They're too long. Okay, battery is charged. Let's not put it here. Let's continue to run around until I can get past all these people. Perfect. You love to see it. Where is that dead end? This is not it. think I'm going back. I have gone the wrong way. Just close that. Okay, so this is where the charger is. Understood. Let's go this way. And then this way? No. Maybe yes. Maybe no. Through here. This way. Understood. I'm gonna have to put batteries in all of these, aren't I? Okay. Alright. That's fine. I can do that. Probably do that. Yikes. Yikes. Yikes, 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 yikes. What's this? This is not where the charger is. Ah! Ah! That's not where the charger is. Here? Okay. I'm so bad at these. So bad at these. I have to restart the entire thing, don't I? Okay. Maybe we do start here. Do you want to put the battery down, maybe? This thing is so fucking finicky. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna get it. Okay, but there's no extra battery in here, and we've already activated this, so I can go. We can ignore that room. I think. Okay, let's... I should check to see if the battery that we did earlier is still there. Probably not. That's where I want to go. That's where I want to go. Okay. I need the icons to be different. I think is my issue with that. I have a hard time between crouch and run, which is more of a me problem than it is a game problem, but and the buttons are just so close to each other anyway. I don't know. I think really I'm just kind of tired of this section, you know? We're just sort of done with it. I would like to be done with it. Okay, yeah. I mostly wanted to confirm to see if the battery was here or not. It is not. So, go take care of that other room. Okay. Battery. Let's go. This is the run. It's not. I've taken a wrong turn. Oh boy. Oh boy. Where am I going? What am I doing? I would like to not be here anymore. Really glad I don't have a stamina bar. I will give the game that. I'm not stuck having to run and then walk and then run and then walk. I can just run for as long as I want. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. Okay. Can I take this to the room that I need to take it to now? Please. Preferably. I would like to be done with this. Get me out of here! That's technically 3 batteries done, right? So assuming I don't have to have the batteries in here, in these rooms, then we should be fine. Sir, you're in the way. Thank you. If you could not block the doorway, that would be great. This is the wrong... That was a fun sound. How you doing, bud? Okay. How? Where? I'm lost again. Fuck. No. I swear, if I die here, I will be very upset. This is the wrong way. Okay. Off to the right, then? No, this way. I keep going right, and that is my issue, is I keep going to the right. Put that there. I should have all the batteries, so it's just a matter of getting here. Okay. Excuse me, coming through. Excuse me, coming through. One more. Also, I know my layout looks a little weird because I have left an empty chat box up. Hopefully, if I do more of these in the future, I'll have like a dedicated scene for it. This was incredibly impromptu, though. I just sort of got it in my head that I needed to do this immediately, and did not set anything up beforehand. So, that's a thing. Save point! Thank God. Holy shit. Get me out of here. No. Holy crap. is it. Where all of its leftovers, rejects, and unfinished projects are. The last piece, the core. Activate it. Kill it. Save us. Okay. The bomb is complete. All you need now is enough power to prime it. You can only get that much power from one place. One person. She is willing to give herself for it. Don't worry about us. Or her. We'll be there when you're pulled from this place. You'll be safe. Don't worry. Don't think I'm gonna be, but, you know, that's fine. You did it. Thank you. That's an eyeball. Okay. Did we do it? Where did you go? You know about magenta? And how it's not real? Yeah. Could have been part of something great. Oh boy. Captive people of the Crux Gallery, thank you for setting them free! The few who still had bodies escaped before it disappeared. Consort entity's fate is unknown. Witnesses say they saw something lumbering away into the darkness. The end. Well, I got some opinions about that. There's this behind the scenes thing. Congrats on finishing Gallery! As a little reward, here you'll find some behind the scenes details about the game and its development, as well as some dev pics. Feel free to spool through. It's gonna be pretty text heavy and casual. If you want to read this, you can. I will probably read it later. I did like the monster design. We all know I'm a goober for cool monsters, though. My big issue is that you die super regularly, so it ended up being less cool and or scary and more frustrating. Because you're just stuck there dying over and over again. And that's not fun. I just wish that there was, like, even just one less of the big lumbering ladies. And I don't want to say more checkpoints. I don't know. The pacing was just weird in some spots. Overall, really cool concept. Really cool visuals. I liked it, and I was so thankful I could turn off the bloom because it was giving me a headache. But even with that, like, it looked really cool. The sound design was spectacular. I do wish that there was a little less, like, wet smacking in the ASMR parts, but like I said in the previous playthrough, like, I don't like ASMR. It makes my brain hurt, and that's probably a neurodivergent quirk of mine. But it was cool the way that it, like, bounced between my ears, and, like, it did feel all-encompassing it was a neat concept. It was a neat... They pulled it off really well. I don't want to just say it was a neat concept, because they did really well with it. The minor gripes that I have about that are just a personal thing for me. But I think that added to it. But again, like, I was just so frustrated over dying as often as I did, and being lost, and it just being so dark. And the flash on the batteries wasn't particularly great, so it didn't really, like, resolve the dark issue for me. But I like this more now than I did when I played it on last Friday. I think a lot of my complaints are still there, but the fact that I was determined to come back and finish it says a lot. Because I don't do that often with games that I get frustrated with. But yeah, that's all that I've got for this one. Like I said, it was incredibly short. I'll probably, like, tack this on onto some of the other DreadX videos that I'm gonna do. I just didn't want to do this on stream on the off chance that I, like, gave up on it. But no, I like Gallery. I just wish that some of the things were a little different, is all. But for what it is, it was pretty cool. So yeah, that's all I got. I'll see y'all later. Bye, friends.